Welcome to the Practically Imperfect podcast. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Orson.
Orson, how was your week?
Every single time we start it like this, it makes me laugh. My week was good. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really any exciting story that I feel like I could share. There is?
No.
You're acting like there is an exciting story.
I just feel like maybe you should ask me because I always have something to say.
Okay, so like pretend, welcome to the Practically Imperfect podcast. I'm Lindsay. Or, wait, I'm Orson.
I'm Lindsay.
Lindsay, how was your week?
It was good. Thanks for asking. So, we do have something to say that's been new happening this week with our daughter. That's where I was gonna go with that. But as far as like yesterday, we had so many stories to last podcast, we had so much to catch up on. Like, there were so many random things that happened in the week, but this week was pretty normal, pretty average as far as like our day-to-day. But as far as with our baby, it has been a little bit different. We have been trying something new, and I think it's working. It's been a little bit rough. It's going to be a little bit hard for me to talk about because parenting, there's just so many, Can we start over?
Why would we start over? Just keep going.
No, because I forgot that I was going to talk about when we were talking about how's your week. I was going to say I'm really excited because I have so many fall things going on right now. Like, that's how I wanted to start it.
Okay, then keep going. We'll just go. Let's just scratch what you were saying. Just roll with it. That's what's fun about a podcast is there's like no edits.
No, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, your cheeks are looking a little red. All right, so instead of talking about Scarlet, first off, you wanted to talk about all your fall things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I gotta
start with that.
So fall is among us, and that's like so amazing. I think a lot of people, their favorite season is fall because the weather's a little bit cooler from the summer, the fall vibes, the colors, the outfits are changing, and I am one of those people. I don't know if I could say fall is my favorite, though. What about you? Do you have a favorite season?
I like fall. It's more fashion sense.
Right,
That's really the only thing that's cool about fall.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, though, as I get older, I'm becoming I have these two parts of me. Like, one part of me just wants to be like a who's the guy that started Facebook?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, and how he only has like one shirt,
What?
He has
Ew.
not like one single. He has like one shirt, all the same color, and like just like one of the same, one type of the same clothing.
Yeah.
So I don't ever have to think about what I want to wear. But on the other hand, like I sent you a reel today of this guy. It's actually one of the Crumble founders.
Yes.
He's just the stylish dude, and I'm like, I really like his style. Like, if I could, I would dress like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, but fall.
It was like a fall outfit.
Yeah, there were a lot of fall outfits, but like you can layer it with cool jackets and different things like that. But also, I kind of like the idea of just being simple. But anyways, to answer your question, it's really just more so if I like fall more than summer or winter, it's just because you can layer things and it's not super cold. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love fall. It might be my favorite, I think. But I also get really excited when it's about to be summer because of the pool, swimming, tanning. So I'm mixed up between summer and fall. But I think fall might take it just because, the holidays are coming. My birthday's in the fall. The outfits are amazing. The colors, I thrive at fall colors. I also have fall nails. They're maroon color, and I'm not kidding, Orson. When my sister was doing them, I teared up because I was like, thank you. I missed this so much. And I think it's really dumb how I feel like I have to have certain nails with the season, So in the summer, I go really bright and whatnot. But I don't know. I might just say screw it and just be a fall nail girly all year round because that's what I like on my nails. And I almost shed a tear. That is a true story because I was just so excited that this is here and it's happening. And so anyway, I have fall nails. I have like a fall color of shirt on, and I also got a new phone case. It has pumpkins on it. Yeah. And my background is leaves. So I am full on fall. That's my personality.
I am not that.
No. You should get on board.
My phone case is still gray.
Gross.
My phone cover is still a truck.
Ew.
At least you sound so redneck.
I know it does. That's why I said ew.
No.
Oh.
There's a reason though. But anyways, I'm definitely not the fall vibe as you are.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm ready. You know what I do not like though about people who get really excited for the fall holiday season. Also comes Halloween. I am not a Halloween girly. That is a thing. I don't like the holiday. It's honestly one of my least favorites. I wish I liked it. I wish I could get into it. It just makes me stressed. Like, I feel like in August, okay, it's September 13th, Friday the 13th. Hello. Oh my gosh. And I already feel like, I missed my opportunity to come up with a cool outfit. And this is Scarlett's first Halloween. So I feel like I should do something family themed because I've never done that before. And I'm already feeling like it's too late because some people come up with their costumes so far in advance, like in the beginning of August, because if you want to make it good, you have to have some time to get your ideas together. But if you wait until the last minute, which honestly is end of September, beginning of October, even though you have a full month, you're kind of stuck with, okay, we're all gonna be pumpkins, which honestly might be kind of cute. So I have no idea about that, and I know especially because Halloween is never it's never on my mind. So I'm sad that I just know that our costumes aren't gonna be fire. Every year I regret it. I'm like, dang, I should have put in a little bit more effort, but never do.
We just don't care to spend the money on a Halloween costume. Like, I don't know.
You have to spend money.
And it's just why? I just don't want to put on a smelly costume that just feels weird on my body, and it's just I don't want to have to put the brain power into coming up with something creative.
I know.
Halloween to me is just work, and I don't like scary things.
What? It is work. Halloween is work.
I know there's a lot of people that love the spooky vibes, but I don't like spooky things. I am a very non-scary type of a person.
Yes, we hate scary movies.
I mean, haunted houses.
No,
those are so. I hate scary movies, but haunted houses, I feel like I can get behind a little bit more because it's easier for me to separate the two. Be like, you're not real, type of thing.
Yes.
But scary movies is a little bit different because I don't know why it's different.
Interesting, yeah, because you would think this is a movie, this isn't real, but when you're watching a crazy movie, you just think of, oh my gosh, this could happen to me.
But the haunted houses, my sisters and I last year, we almost
was pregnant.
Yeah, we almost went to one of the biggest ones in Phoenix. I forget what it was called, but we were prepared to go. We're like, let's do it, but it was just a little bit too late, and we would have gotten there right when it closed, and we didn't want to risk it, and because my sister would have had to speed super fast just to get there, and so what if we get plenty anyways? It didn't end up happening, and we went and watched more of a thriller, scary type of a movie. It was A Haunting in Venice, I think it was called.
Yeah, that's a good movie. It's not too scary.
It wasn't too scary, but it was still that spooky vibe, and it was a good movie. But those horror movies, I cannot get behind. I hate horror. I do not. That does not make my heart happy to go in and watch a movie where people are just dying all over the place,
yeah, I hate it.
By scary dolls or monsters or different things. I don't understand the desire to want to feel that kind of adrenaline.
Yeah.
That just makes my skin crawl. My
Why are you crying?
I don't know. That's how much I hate it.
And also, I wasn't cool enough to like get invited to like cool Halloween parties. So once I got too old to trick or treat, it just went all downhill. And now, even though Scarlett is only 8 months and she'll be pretty much 9 months by Halloween, I'm gonna take her trick or treating so I can get some candy.
I'm gonna just buy you candy.
Why would I buy candy when I can get some for free? The candy I would want would be the big Costco packs. And those are like $20 for
Why don't you just buy yourself like one box of king size chocolates, and then you don't have to ever.
Variety.
There is a variety in those. There's like M&Ms, there's Reese's, there's Kit Kats, there's.
Another thing, if we were to get like a good bag of candy, we would have to buy it right now. You know what I mean? Because once you get to closer to Halloween, it's only like gross stuff that's left, like Almond Joys and Milky
If you're
Way.
if you're an Almond Joy lover, there's something wrong with you.
Really?
I think they're
I
nasty.
have to talk to my mom about that because she's obsessed.
I don't know. I've never liked those things.
But anyway, so
Honestly,
where I was going with this. Well, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I'm starting to just not like really candy in general.
Oh, can't relate. Definitely can't relate to that. I'm a chocolate queen. I love chocolate.
I don't know. Maybe it's just because like the changes that I'm making in my life, like ice cream, isn't really that big of a deal for
In
me.
my eyes right now.
I just like there's just like those sweet things. I just like don't. I don't even really want it. Like that just sounds nasty. Why are you judging me so much right now?
Because I just so can't relate.
Hey, it's fine.
But like, good for you. Good for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, where I was going with
Thanks
this
for making me feel good about myself.
is people September 1st do their Halloween decorations, which is so weird to me because Halloween is not until October 31st. So if you put your Halloween decor up September 1st, that is almost 2 months of Halloween. Like, what? I just can't get behind that. And that's like longer than, like, let's say you do your Christmas decorations November 1st, which I feel like most people don't do. I definitely do because I love Christmas in the house. It's just like cute decorations to me. Where Halloween, it's like cutesy, you know what I mean? Like it's gimmicky, it's pumpkins, like I don't know. Anyway, so let's say you do your Christmas decorations November 1st. Christmas is December 25th. Well, I guess you usually leave up your Christmas decorations till New Year, so it's around the same amount of time. But I just feel like Halloween and Christmas cannot be on the same level with like how long you leave your decorations up. Sorry about it. You heard it here. Halloween hater.
You are very much a Halloween hater.
Yes. Okay, now we can.
But I will say, like, there are some houses that do Halloween really. Like, I enjoy kind of walking around seeing the decorations. Like, some people put some cool. There's one house further up in our neighborhood that does like a pirate theme, and every single year it's a little bit different. Where they put skeletons in their cars and they light up the grass, and it's like a whole scene. And some people do that for Christmas too, but I think it's cool to see that kind of stuff for Halloween.
No, I
Like, it's
appreciate
like
it for sure. I would never.
It's more of like a fun, spooky,
Yeah.
but like the scary, like demons and demon babies. And
My parents' house, they do like a haunted graveyard. I think that's cool.
it is cool, and
You know,
your dad even has like a smoke machine.
Yeah. Like,
No, it's a
definitely
vibe.
appreciate Halloween decorations, just not right now.
It's a vibe for
It
sure.
should be October. It should be an October thing, not a September thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah.
But I think the decorations can be really cool, but like the cheesy, gory, nasty ones, like, you know how you walk into some Spirit Halloween stores and there's just like
So dumb.
alien things coming out of humans and like
And
the
they're
bloody,
so
gory,
expensive.
like the blood and gore stuff. I could definitely do without, but like the cutesy little ghosties and pumpkins and
Yeah.
like that fun vibe, I can get behind that. I think that's fun. But the scary stuff, yeah, no, thank you.
Yep. Okay, anything else you want to talk about or bring
That's right.
up?
You were about to go into something else, and I interrupted you.
Oh, no, it's fine.
No, go for it.
Oh, we're also doing a spontaneous trip up north this weekend, which should be super fun for our family friend's 21st birthday. And we're taking Scarlett, and she's never been up there in the city we're going to. So that should
It's
be
really
fun.
not a city. It's like, it's really more of like a
town.
a habitat.
A habitat. The weather is going to be so much
Look
cooler.
how many people. So we're going to Fillmore, Utah. How many people? What's the population?
Of Fillmore?
Yes. Lindsay's looking it up right now.
Fillmore, Utah.
There's like it's like a one stoplight type of place.
2,000.
2,000 people.
2,600.
2,600. Okay.
That's like Forks, Washington, and Twilight. If you know, you know. So yeah, that's where they live, and that's where we're going.
Anyway, I'm not bagging on the place, but I guess I kind of am.
It's okay. It's okay. All right, so let's get to this episode and what we're talking about. So, like I said in the beginning, before I just jumped right into it before I started talking about the fun stuff. Our baby Scarlett, I had mentioned in the first episode, the very first one we ever did, how she is an amazing, great angel baby, but she sleeps really horribly. And we are finally just now getting more strict with it.
You would have thought we would have started this like a long time ago because we want our sleep, but we just love snuggling her. And that was, as first parents, like, can you blame her? She's so freaking cute. How can you not want to just snuggle up next to her and just like fall asleep with her? Like, it's so like, oh my gosh, it just makes your heart warm and fuzzy. But you don't get very good sleep. At least I don't.
Honestly, I get just fine sleep when I'm snuggling her, but I know, like you just said, you don't. But what I'm kind of scared of... Okay, well, here's the thing. So when we first had her, we put her in her bassinet right away just because you hear about the scary things that happen with really tiny newborns. She was really tiny. She was... When we left the hospital, she was 5 pounds, 1 ounce. So she was really small. And you obviously don't want to roll over your baby or something scary. So right away, we did not have her sleep in our bed. She was in the bassinet. And I don't know when the first time we were like, just screw it, let's just snuggle her. I don't know. We always did for like naps, like naps on the couch. Like as a newborn, they're always sleeping. So they were always just napping in our arms. But as far as sleep time, like at bedtime goes, I don't really remember.
Probably just she wasn't sleeping very well. I don't remember when it happened, but the reasoning...
A couple months.
But I'm sure the reasoning was just because we wanted to sleep. We were just lazy, and we're like, okay, if we put her in the bed, she'll probably sleep better.
Yes.
And really, did she? Not really.
You don't think?
We still had to wake up and feed her.
Yeah.
And she would still wake up and be all like... And
yeah,
like,
maybe she slept
arms
10% better in our bed. And that was enough to where we, for the majority of the time, had her in our bed.
Yeah, I'd go back and forth. She'd be in the bed, then she'd be in the bassinet. And then she'd wake up again, then we'd bring her back into the bed. And then we would put her back in the bassinet. And then she'd wake up and we're like, okay, screw it. And then we'd just leave her in the bed.
Yes. And honestly, I don't have a problem with co-sleeping. Some people do. I don't. I don't right now because we only have one child and she's still a baby. She's not a toddler. So it's not too much of an inconvenience. And we have a king size bed. So the three of us can very much fit just fine. I don't feel like I'm in the corner or anything like that. But what I was scared of is, okay, if we don't get her out of our bed soon, she's going to want to stay until she's 3 years old, which that's, I'm sure...
Probably even longer than 3.
No. I don't think I've ever heard of... Well, maybe. I'm sure there is out there, but with my mom and...
that's just when they...
co-slept all of her kids, and she said we didn't go into our bed.
That's just when she started to put you in your own room. Was when you were 3. That's when she started to put you in your own room. She can correct us if we're wrong when she listens to this, but if I remember right, based off of what she was saying, is that she just waited until you were 3, and it was still really difficult for you to not sleep in the bed.
Oh yeah. Like I was like, okay, I'm ready to sleep, and it was still hard for me to
and so we're just
go in my own
dealing.
room.
We're just
Right.
like, because there was 2 nights in a row where she slept in our bed pretty much all night long, and I think that for us was kind of like, all right, this
A
is
wake-up call.
this is like she's either gonna be sleeping in our bed from here on out, and we just need to accept it, or we need to make a change now before she gets too comfortable being in our bed.
Yeah.
And we both agreed that the best thing for our relationship and for us, especially as the parents, because we need to take care of ourselves in order to be the best versions of ourselves for her. And sleep is a big part of that.
Yeah.
And I know I don't get that great of sleep when she's in the bed because I don't want to roll on her, or, I mean, she'd probably start crying. And
Yeah, she's pretty big now, but I mean,
still.
it still happens, I'm sure, where 8-month, 9-month-old baby, something still tragic can definitely happen. So the only reason why, okay, she's also too big for her bassinet, I think.
yeah, I
She
think
definitely fits in there, but she rolls around now. She's kind of, I don't know. I feel like she's just, the crib is bigger and it fits her better. So the bassinet in our room, unfortunately, isn't an option, in my opinion. So we put her in a different room, in her crib. And every now and then we'll do that for her naps, just to like ease her into getting used to the crib. And she's been doing fine in the crib for her naps. Like nothing, I mean, she, like I said, she still is taking 40-minute naps. Like they're not super long. So nothing, it wasn't like we put her in the crib, 10 minutes later she's awake. Like I didn't see a noticeable decrease in her sleep because she already wasn't sleeping very good. So yeah, anyway, so she seems comfortable in the crib for her naps. So also, so what am I?
so.
I feel like I'm talking so much. Do you want to?
So
So mean.
you just said so again.
I know.
Start the sentence without saying so. You can't do it.
So, just kidding.
What did you did you lose your train of thought?
You're making me uncomfortable.
Oh, what do you mean?
I don't know. I'm just trying to speak, and you're correcting my flaws, and I feel like no.
I was just teasing you, Linz.
I know.
It was one little thing. It's okay.
Okay.
You can do this. I do the same thing.
Okay. So keep doing that. Ah.
It's fine. I'm just laugh at it. It's funny.
Okay.
It's all good.
Okay.
Just keep going.
I was about to say so again. She's been sleeping in her crib. Now, her room is, I mean, it's down the hall, so we definitely have to get, when she cries, because she does not sleep through the night by any means. She will get a 4-hour stretch if we're lucky. She will, so I think that's why she was in our room for the longest time, because she still would wake up, and I would be less than half asleep feeding her in the middle of the night when she was in our bed or in the bassinet. I would be, my eyes would still be closed, I feel like, just because you're there and she's right there. And that was, I feel like what was kind of prolonging this process of getting her in her own room, in her own crib, is because she still wakes up a bunch, and we're going to actually have to get up, get out of our bed, walk down the hall into her room. So we'll have to be more awake. And I don't know how long we were doing that. Do you remember?
Doing what? Like just feeding her in the bed?
No, in the crib. Kind of, because now we're being more strict with like her crying. So how long was she in the crib?
We just started.
Was it like 3 days
This is
until we realized, okay, this needs to change?
She did. When we started putting her in the crib is when we decided to start doing some sort of schedule.
We did?
Yeah, there was
I
no.
don't. That's
there
not
was a
true.
That
because
is...
because I woke up every 2 hours.
There might have been
Because
two
I
nights.
didn't let her cry.
There might have been two nights where I
Yes.
tried it and then you tried it, and then I was like, hey, there's got to be a better way. And then I asked my sisters, hey, what did you guys do?
Okay, so what he's meaning is, okay, we do not let her cry at all
Until recently.
until recently.
Probably is just the saddest. They're just so sad.
So ever since she was a newborn, she wouldn't cry. She would grunt, which it was the cutest thing ever. So in the middle of the nights when she would be hungry and needed a diaper change and all that, instead of waking up crying like most newborns, she would just go like, it was like Chewbacca. It was so cute. She didn't have her first cry with tears, and it was like 2 months in, and it was so sad. But so she doesn't cry often. So I know when she is crying, something is wrong. She's actually sad. And so when she's crying, or even if she's starting to fuss, I don't want to get to the point to her crying. So she'll fuss. I'll get up. I'll go to the crib. So that's what was happening. And that resulted in me getting up every hour and a half, 2 hours, walking down the hall, picking her up, trying to comfort her. And I would pick her up and right away she would fall asleep. Mm-hmm. So I would only go to the crib in her room for 10 minutes, but I was still waking up every hour and a half to 2 hours just so she doesn't cry. So I hold her so she doesn't cry. And it was so exhausting. It was worse than when she was a newborn, 100%.
Yeah.
And I was fed up, but I don't think it was my idea to try something new. I don't remember.
What do you mean your idea as far as just doing the sleeping in her room as...
To see what we needed to change to try and get her to sleep better, because it's like ridiculous how much she was waking up.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, we've always known that sleep training and letting them cry was always a thing. And every time you say, oh, she's not sleeping very well, people are like, do you let her cry? Mm-hmm. And so I think what kind of really pushed us over the edge was like, all right, we're getting a lot of this feedback. People saying, did you let her cry? And we're like, no, we don't really do that. But we don't want to just let her cry. There's obviously some sort of structure and a game plan behind letting them cry, because you don't want to just neglect them. Yeah. And so that's what prompted me to ask my sisters kind of how they've done it, because I have 3 older sisters. The youngest sister is 10 years older than I am. They all have families of their own. I've been an uncle since I was 6 years old, so it's like they've been doing this for a while. Mm-hmm. And so when I asked them about it, they were just saying, we let them cry for 5 minutes, and then we go in, put the binky in, rub their back. You can either
do not pick them up is what they...
Yeah, not picking them up, just rubbing their back, shushing them back to sleep. Or one of my sisters would like say, hey, it's okay, like, I'm here. Mm-hmm. It's all right. Like, calming words like that. One sister didn't do any words at all. But anyways, so you do that for 30 seconds to a minute, and then you leave, and oftentimes they are still crying and still not comforted, and then you let them cry for 10 minutes. Then you go back in and put the binky in or whatever they need and rub their back for a minute, and then you leave, and the next time would be for 15 minutes. So that's kind of the game plan that we've gone into all of this with, is starting, like, we hear her cry or we hear her start to fuss. We'll go in immediately and just put the binky in and try to calm her down right then and there, mm-hmm. to avoid the crying. But after that, she's most of the time not ready to be, she wants to be held. Yeah, exactly. And so we'll leave, and then we'll start the 5-minute timer, and then start the 5, 10, 15 minutes. But the longest that she's cried with me is 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then she found a binky and put it in and fell asleep. But like, I don't think you've experienced that in your night shifts. I mean, you got really lucky the first time you did it, to where she pretty much slept the whole night.
Yeah, so Orson did the first trial run of letting her cry, and I don't know if it was hard for you. I was definitely not looking forward to the next day where I had to do it. What were your thoughts? The first,
it's sad, man. It's super sad. I mean, I was just sitting outside her door in my office chair with like the monitor in one hand, the timer in the other, and just like watching the timer go to see when I could go back in and try to comfort her. Like, you want to hold them, you want to comfort them, and you want to do all these other things for them. But the point of being a parent, in my opinion, is to prepare your children to be able to leave the home and be okay on their own. And
you're a baby.
Hold on. And to me, I feel like this is just a step in that direction. Maybe this isn't a big step or anything at all, but this is like movement towards that. Hey, we're teaching her how to self-soothe, how to be okay, and how to, like, we're teaching her different skills that she can learn to do things on her own. That's the common theme that I'm really talking about with this. And
so that's where Orson was at. He was more on board. I wasn't necessarily not on board because I just knew something had to change. We're getting worse sleep than we've ever had.
Well, you were the one that first set the goal of, hey, let's have her sleeping in her crib all by herself by January.
Right.
You came up with that goal.
I did want her to be sleeping through the night in her room by when she turns 1. So we're not having a toddler in our bed. And I felt like 8 months was we had some time to figure out the kinks and to see what would work and what doesn't work. But when it was my turn to do the night shift, oh no, I'm going to start crying. It's really not that big of a deal to let your baby cry for a little bit. It's not gonna hurt them, you know. Like, she'll be okay. It's me that's not okay. I don't know what it is. Before I was a mom, I always thought that I was gonna be the mom who had the schedule, who would sleep train their babies, let them cry if they needed to. I don't know. I just thought I would I would not necessarily judge moms. I mean, I guess I would judge moms when I wasn't one, of why don't you just let her cry or let them cry? Or like I just thought I would be different. And having a baby of my own, it really surprised me how I would go about things, how I didn't want her to cry at all. I would just be always, I would tend to everything she needed right away, knowing that that might not be the best thing long term. And so I just wasn't ready to do that. So Orson did the first night. How did it go? Maybe you should say how the first night went, letting her cry for a little bit, and then I'll say what happened the first night.
I kind of said it earlier. I mean, it was really sad. Like, I was just counting down the minutes until I could go in and try to help her. But I was up for an hour straight, just starting the cycle over again. I gave her 2 ounces in the middle of that hour to try to help calm her down. But it was definitely, it's sad for sure. And in my head, I wasn't crying, but I was definitely hurting. But at the same time, in my head, I was also thinking how this is good for her. This is good for us. Long term, I wasn't like, I try to think in terms of the long term, the delayed gratification. Like, is this going to really help in the future, 5 years down the road? And I knew that this is the path that we need to take, even though it's a little bit harder up front.
Yeah.
And I feel like, from what I understand, no matter when you start this process, it's always a little bit difficult like this when you first start introducing them to be sleeping on their own through the night.
Yeah. So normally, she would go to bed around 8. And then she would wake up between 11 and 12 to eat. Every time she would wake up, we would feed her. Even though she didn't need to, but we just did because it would get her calm the fastest. So, yes. And then after she would wake up around 11 or 12, it would be 1 or 2 next, and then 4 or 5. It would be like around every 2 to 3 hours still, like she was a newborn. And so what were the times the first night? So we put her to bed. Probably it's getting more around 7 now, so we probably put her to bed around 7. And then the first time she woke up was when?
I don't really remember. You'd have to look at the notes.
It was 12:30.
It was 12:30?
Yeah, I remember.
If you remember better than do you...
Okay, well, so anyway, we have a notes app, and just because I want to see if she's improving at all, or anyway. So Orson was up, and
it was like from 12 to 1.
Yeah, it was from 12 to 1, and every couple minutes he would say, put the binky in, rubbed her back, let her cry for 5 minutes, let her cry for 10 minutes, and still thought she was asleep. She isn't. Fed her 2 ounces, and I guess the longest he but the longest time she cried for was 7 minutes. And she knows how to put the binky in herself. Like, she can definitely, like, when we are looking at the monitor for her naps and she wakes up in 20 minutes, there have been plenty of times where she finds the binky, she puts it in, and she is asleep for another hour. So, and after you go back into the room at 1, after you have been up for a full hour, then what?
Oh, then she was asleep until for the next 4 hours after that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I was sleeping in the guest room, which is right across from her room.
Oh.
And I was like, hey, I'm just, because I tried to go back into our room to go to bed twice, but then she started to cry or started to fuss and wake up again immediately. And so I had to start that 5-minute cycle over again. And what I decided to do was like, okay, my alarm goes off at 5 a.m. I'm just going to go into the other room and just try to sleep in there, so that way I'm not getting up and out of the bed a whole bunch of times for Lindsay, because I wasn't sure how many more times that I would have to get up.
Yeah.
And so I closed my eyes in that room, and then I didn't wake up until my alarm went off at 5, and I was like, oh wow, I haven't gotten up to see Scarlett. And so that was
4 hours.
In 4 hours.
Yeah.
So then I went back into the room, and then she didn't wake up until like 6. And then,
which is a win. That maybe sounds like a crazy night.
Like, I woke up at 5 and I was like, holy crap. I just got like 4 hours interrupted. I feel amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm ready to rock and roll. I may as well just like go to the gym right now.
And I think you did.
And I think I got in bed because I knew I figured she might wake up again soon. And so I didn't want to it wasn't your night for the shift. It wasn't your time to do the night shift. So I didn't want to be gone if she woke up and then you had to deal with it. Anyways, so I felt like it was a huge win. And so when she woke up at 6, I was like, you're going to come to bed as your reward. That's kind of what I was like, you did so good sleeping tonight. Like, I know that was hard, so I want to bring you in and snuggle with us. Because we don't normally get her up until about 7:38 or try to.
That has not been happening the past 5 days. It's been like 5 or 6.
Yeah, she'll wake up in there. In her room, and then we'll bring her into our bed, and she'll sleep for another hour and a half.
Yeah.
And so, like, really, realistically, we should probably be leaving her in the crib for another hour and a half, letting her do that cycle again. I have no idea if us bringing her into the room after a night's worth of sleep is making it harder on us with her being able to let go of being on our bed. Like, does that make sense?
But, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I think it's fine for now. It works for us. And I'm sure eventually that'll stop. But I think it's just because we're so tired. And she cannot be waking up for the day at 5 in the morning. Like, I'm sorry. And that's how she acts when we go into the room at 5 in the morning. She's acting like she's kicking. She's laughing. And I'm like, no, girl. So I just bring her in the bed. Even if she doesn't fall asleep, she'll just be rolling around in our bed while we're trying to get some sleep. Safely, though. she's not rolling off of our bed, like not actually rolling around. She's just messing around.
Yeah.
So that was Tuesday night. You did the night shift, I believe. No, it was Monday night. So I was Tuesday night. And somehow, this hasn't happened again. This was by the grace of God.
Didn't you tell me you said a prayer before going to bed?
I did, because I was having a complete meltdown. Oops, sorry. I had a complete meltdown before going to bed that night because I just was not ready. Well, I keep saying I wasn't ready to just let her cry for that long because I was, and I wasn't. I wasn't emotionally, clearly. I just cried 2 minutes ago about it. But mentally, I don't know if emotionally and mentally are the same thing. No, they're not. Mentally, I was like, I need to do this for the long-term goal, and I know she'll be okay. 5 minutes is not going to kill her. So we put her to bed at 7 p.m. and she didn't wake up until 4 a.m. 4:30 actually.
Yeah, I remember you woke up and you're like, whoa. And I remember thinking, wait, did you just say whoa because she just woke up for the first time?
Yeah.
I remember thinking that.
It was amazing. I was so happy. So I still did the same thing because I was like, you can't be getting up for the day at 4:30. So I still went in there, I put her binky in and I rubbed her back and stuff. And I don't remember her crying a bunch. I just think she went back to sleep pretty easily. And yeah, that was like a perfect night. She basically slept through the night. I would count that as sleeping through the night, even though she woke up at 4:30. But that hadn't happened since. So I thought, oh my gosh, that having Orson do that one night, she's already like a pro. And she's not. She's still...
You thought wrong.
Yeah, that was just the one night because maybe God was blessing me.
But it has never been as bad as that first initial night. Yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been that bad.
Like, neither one of us have had to be up for a whole hour straight. Like, I did that first night. It's kind of been... We put the binky in... Or she... Like, the last night when I did the night shift, she didn't wake up until, like, 3.
Really? So from 7 to 3?
Or was it 11? I think she woke up at 11. I put the beat. I was shortly after. Maybe it was like 11, but then...
But you only had to put the binky in and she was fine?
Yeah. And then I woke up again at 3:30 because she was waking up, and I gave her 2 ounces because I knew she hadn't eaten in a long time, and I was like, I don't want to just let her cry. And so I gave her 2.
You can't just be like, you're probably hungry. Maybe is it because we're trying to get her to not eat during the night.
This is the whole concept of I didn't want to deal with the cry because I was tired.
Gosh, I know. It's still our first week. Give us some slack.
I know. That was not the best decision. I just wanted to go back to bed because my alarm was going to go off in like an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And so I definitely... Yeah, I knew she hadn't eaten in a while, so I was just thinking, okay, I think if I give her 2 ounces, that'll help calm her down faster. And it did, and she fell asleep again. But yeah, I did it. Shouldn't have done it that way. I should have actually let her gone through the cycle and let her cry.
Good. So we'll see what happens tonight. It's a little bit. It's been good. It's definitely. I've seen improvement with her sleeping.
Question.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you got emotional talking about the letting her cry and stuff? What do you think is going on in her head or in her baby's head as we do this?
I don't know.
I'm sure there's research done, but
no one knows what's going through a baby's head. No one knows.
Because you were seeing some comments. You saw one post and people were just talking about, oh, yeah, you just train them. They don't cry because they know if they cry, nobody's going to come and help them. Mm-hmm. Which I don't think that's the case, but...
It's just really touchy because every parent does something different because that's what they think is right. And everybody has their opinions on how to do it the correct way. And the reason why I don't like letting her cry is because I think in her mind she's thinking, why isn't someone coming to get me? When I'm sure that's not what I don't know if that's what she's thinking. Like, I'm crying, I'm alone, what's going on? Just because it has not been her experience her whole life since she's been living. We have not been letting her cry.
Speak of the devil, she just made a sound in the... Is she waking up?
Better not. It's only 9:30. I don't think so. I think she just moved.
Okay.
It's fine. So that's what I was worried about. But as Orson kind of reassured me, he was saying how she's not thinking, why isn't someone here to come and help me? Because she'll know we're going to come and we're going to comfort her every 5 minutes, you know? So she's not alone for an hour crying it out until she literally is too tired. She cannot cry anymore. That I'm not okay with that. So that's some people's style. You do you, but I couldn't do that. So yeah, that's as long as I would like her to cry is 5 minutes. And I thought it would feel longer than it actually does. It actually goes by pretty fast.
Yeah, I was surprised how fast.
Yeah, I was scared that 5 minutes was going to feel like forever.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It goes by pretty fast. And a lot of the times during that 5 minutes, she'll put the binky in herself and she won't necessarily fall asleep, but she'll stop herself from crying at least, you know. Mm-hmm. She's also doing this thing. Okay, she's doing this right now. So she has been a side sleeper for the past couple months, and it's been so cute because babies, newborns, they sleep on their backs. So it was kind of cute that she is liking to her side. Yeah.
So I'll roll her aside and like interlock her fingers and like
she's praying. Yeah. So freaking cute. But she is now, the past couple days, she's been rolling onto her stomach and sleeping on her stomach, which scares me because I don't want her to suffocate herself. Like, that's what she's doing right now. Is it looks like she's face down in the bed or in the crib, but she probably isn't.
No, she's definitely, she can,
I don't know.
She can push her, really, she won't let herself suffocate. She can push herself up. Like, she won't let her she won't get to that point.
Yeah.
But back to talking about like what's going on through their head. As far as kind of what you were saying, she's not thinking that, like, she knows we're going to come and get, first of all, I mean, I definitely do not know what's going on in babies' heads at all. I don't know if really anybody really understands how much about that.
Her pediatrician, our doctor, who I trust so much, he was my pediatrician when I was just born. He's definitely experienced. He told me, because when I went in for her 6-month checkup a couple months ago, he asked me if she was sleeping through the night, and I was like, no, not even close. And the first question he asked is, do you let her cry? And I said, no. And he was like, Lindsay, he was like, of course you do what you want, but there are no studies that show that that's traumatizing to your baby. Self-soothing is good. So he's a doctor, he's a pediatrician, so I'm sure he knows what he's talking about.
One thing that I saw a reel today, and I sent it to you, and it was like, for those of you in the fitness community, you know of Chris Bumstead, but he and his wife just had a baby, and she's probably about the same age or similar to Scarlett. And in the reel, he was talking about sleep training, and I liked the frame of mind, or the way that he was looking at it as far as the crying portion of it. It was kind of like, if she starts crying and then we don't come and comfort her, or we're not there with her, then we're teaching her that, maybe I shouldn't say what it is because I don't remember it enough. I'd have to look at it. But
what was
it's just, what do you mean?
Like, do you remember what his point was?
It was just, his point was letting her, even though she's young, letting her experience all of her emotions with them present. So even when she's smiling and happy, them being there, and even when she's sad and crying, them being there, but letting her experience those emotions and being supportive rather than just trying to take all the emotion away.
That is true.
And so, like, he was just trying to say, like, they're wanting to teach her that it's okay to feel all of these emotions when her parents are in the room, and to encourage her to, like, the theme of it was for her as she grows up to feel comfortable to coming to them with any type of emotion that she's feeling, and to really open up about it. And I liked that frame of mind of looking at it. It's like you're not training her just to sleep. You're not like training her that, I don't like the way that sounds, because it sounds like you're training a dog.
Yeah.
Which I don't like that reference, because she's not even close to a dog, and I don't want to compare the two, but it's more so you're showing her that, like, hey, we're here to support you no matter what it is that you're feeling. And so I like being able to go in at 5, 10, 15 minutes, because it's like, hey, we're here. We understand what you're going through. We're not going to take away these emotions, because these emotions that you're feeling are important. You need to learn to work through them. I mean, that's a lot more complicated than it needs to be, because she's only a baby. Right. But I think you get what I'm saying.
I'm sure it's not that deep on both of our ends, but at the end of the day, we need to do what's best for what we think is best for Scarlett and for us. And I really think it's helping. I really do. She's sleeping longer. We're not feeding her.
Except for
sounding awful, but if you always feed her during the night, she'll always be used to that feed.
She was used to it.
Yeah. She was like, I'm hungry. But now we've been feeding her more during the day, and thank goodness she's eating more during the day, so she doesn't need the night feed to survive.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been difficult for sure, but I really think it'll be a short period of time. And like I said, it's probably not that deep of what I'm saying of she's alone, she's so sad, and what you're saying either is working out through her emotions is really good for her, even though she's only a baby. I don't think it's... I've said this so many times, I don't think it's that deep. Sorry, I keep repeating myself. Also, sorry, guys. I have the sniffles, and I feel like I always have to sneeze, and I'm trying not to, so I'm so sorry. That's really gross. So hopefully you don't hear that the whole entire time.
Didn't even notice it, so I think you're good.
Great.
Was there anything else about your sentence?
Yes, there was. Of course there is. And of course I lose my train of thought.
Let's see. You were talking about it's probably not as deep as you're making it seem.
Yeah. Hang on. Deepening scene.
She's racking her brain trying to figure out what she was saying.
I don't remember.
That's all right. I mean, honestly, I feel like we could probably wrap up this episode. It's almost been about an hour, and I feel like just the theme is just in my head.
I remember.
Oh, okay. Okay, go.
So when you're in the thick of it, because if I wasn't a mom watching this podcast, I would be thinking, "Girl, get yourself together. You are fine. The baby is fine." I would be thinking that.
There might be some moms that think that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm so sure that there are non-moms and moms watching this saying, "Girl, you are fine. The baby is fine. Get yourself together." But I hate to say this but it's just how life goes. But when you look at other couples and other people who have new kids, and you're thinking, "Oh, I'm not going to be like that. That sounds miserable. I'm going to be more like this." And like I said, I really thought I was going to be more structured and not as relaxed as I am. And so that's why I'm saying when you're in it and in the thick of it, you really just don't know how it is and how you're going to be unless you are there. And we are there still 8 months later. and we are trying our best. And I really think that by the time she's 1 in January, all of this will be behind us. And for our next baby, we will maybe start this process a little bit sooner, maybe more 5 months.
I was saying like 3 or 4.
That's so little. Just because I go like 8 weeks. Like I have 8 weeks with the baby, and then I go back to work. That just seems like she's still so little.
I feel like when we have our next baby, you won't have to go back to work. I mean, that's the hope, at least.
I don't know about that.
I think it's definitely feasible. Anyways, we don't need to get into all that. It's just, it seems like it's kind of one of those experiences where you don't know until you have to experience it yourself to actually understand. It's kind of like when before we started having kids, like I was scared. I was telling you this earlier, but I was scared about how our lives were going to change and all this other stuff. And really my thinking, if anything, has just gotten even more. I've just gotten even more ambitious because I was thinking, oh my gosh, just how my ambition is going to be taken away because I'll have to focus on a baby. And yes, I do have to focus on a baby, but now my ambition has grown to even newer heights and I'm trying to accomplish even more. And if anything, it's just added more joy and more love into my life and not taking anything away. And I'm just learning to become a better version of myself, which is the best thing ever. But if someone were to come and tell me when I was in that season of life of being scared and nervous about it and tell me, hey, your life is just going to get better. Like this is a fear that is irrational. You don't need to be worrying about this. I
give someone that advice. If someone came to you and saying, I'm scared to be a first-time dad, I'm still so young, my career, you would give them that advice? Is that an irrational fear? I would determine on what their priorities are in their life. My priorities, I always knew was a family. I knew that was going to be a big priority. Ambition, I mean, you take away my ambition and that's like, that's just going to be a shell of me. But I knew I could be ambitious and have a family. But I felt like in that season of life, I needed to be at a certain point. But if their priority is a family in the long term, I would give that advice. I would say like, hey, like this fear is irrational. This is like your life is just if it's gonna add so much more, it's gonna bring more love and more joy, and you'll learn and you'll grow, and it'll be beautiful and hard, but you won't ever regret any of it. In fact, you'll probably wish it happened sooner. I mean, I don't wish it happened sooner. I think it happened right when it needed to for us. Right, me
too.
But
to put an end on the sentence is if someone were to tell me that, I don't think I would have believed them. Because just the frame of mind and the way that I viewed the world in that season of my life, I think I keep saying that over and over, but it's just something that I feel like I would have just needed to experience it myself and prove to myself that, hey, those fears are irrational. But I mean, to kind of go along with what you're talking about, it just seems like there's some experiences that we all have and some learning experiences that we'll need to have that we as individuals need to experience for ourselves. And as much as people try to tell us otherwise, even if they may be right, we still would need to experience that situation to really understand the lesson behind it, or to really understand how we would react.
Well, I feel like we can wrap this up. I'm sorry if parenting doesn't... Like, this was a very parenting episode. So when I post on our Instagrams, I'm going to say, hey, this is a very parenting heavy, so if that does not interest you, please do not watch this episode. You will not know what's going on. You'll be so bored. So thank you to whoever has listened. And I also want to say thank you to you, Orson, because you make this podcast possible. I was just thinking about this before we started recording. I was like, I could not even kind of do this without Orson. He makes the lighting amazing, the studio, the reels, it just all looks so professional because this is what you do for a living, and I'm just so grateful to have you. All this for free. Free.com.
And it's not free, but...
Well, the equipment costs money, of course. But we it wasn't like, oh, we need to spend thousands of dollars right now because we had nothing. Like, I
had access to stuff that made it possible. Yeah.
Yes. And of course, over time, you would like buy a light here, buy a mic here.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is the majority of this stuff is ours and we own it. But
yes,
the look and make it look fancy is just things that we have access to. I mean, eventually we'll buy our own lights and oh my goodness, that was a dead sneeze.
That wasn't a sneeze. That was a cough.
That was like a cough sneeze. Anyways, no, I appreciate the compliment.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say thanks, and I couldn't do that. Let's just say that you were gone, and someone was like, oh, I'll fill in for Orson. No, the podcast isn't happening without Orson. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Love you so much. And thank you again. I'm going to say this every single episode to the people who watch this podcast, listen to this podcast, and give us feedback and give us comments that what you liked about it. It really makes my day. It really does. Getting comments from friends and family who have watched it and their thoughts. I love it so much. It's the best. Yeah, makes it feel like I'm not talking to myself.
It is, even though sometimes it is just a conversation between you and me. But I mean, it's a fun journey. It's exciting. I mean, we've already surpassed. I think there's some stat where like if you make it past 3 episodes, you are further than 90% of the people that start podcasts.
No, how many episodes? 5?
3.
No,
the majority of people don't make it past 3 episodes.
That's such a no.
No, there's a statistic.
Fact check. What do I even look up?
Look up how many people make it past 3 episodes of a podcast.
3 episodes. I feel like that's wrong. Well, I'll see.
How do you? Let
me see what it says.
I think it's like the top 1%.
90% of podcasts don't get past episode 3.
Yeah, I was right.
What?
So we're already in the 1%. This is episode number 4.
10%, babe. Because 90% don't, 10% do. 100%.
90% don't make it past
episode 3. So we're not in the 1%.
No, like the top 1% of people that are like. No, I know what I'm trying to say, but
okay, great. I don't, but that's all right. It says so 90% of podcasts don't get past episode 3. 1.8 million podcasts quit before they even get started. Of the 200,000 left, 90% quit after 20 episodes. After releasing over 500 episodes, I know why this happens. Oh, sorry, that was for the article. So, I mean, that makes sense because we started a podcast years ago and we definitely didn't make it 20 episodes.
We made it like 3. I think we didn't.
No, we did a whole season of The Bachelor. That was at least 8 because I think The Bachelor is 8 weeks.
That's I don't think it.
It had to have been. We recapped the whole season.
Okay, maybe.
So, but yeah. So if we make it past 20 episodes,
which we will.
Yeah, we definitely will. Then we're even more rare.
Wow.
Yeah. That's so crazy. That's a fun statistic.
That is a fun statistic.
I love a fun fact.
Yeah. I mean, all that to say is we're excited about this, and we say that every time, and we're so grateful for those of you that are tuning in and watching and listening. It really does mean a lot. I mean, this is just a fun hobby for us. And the fact that other people are actually listening is kind of crazy, even though you are just family and friends right now. But eventually, maybe it'll be millions of other people.
Millions.
Whoa.
I don't think any podcast gets millions.
Yeah, there are.
No way.
Yeah, 100%.
No way. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying no way, because you can get 1 million views on YouTube quite easily.
I mean, I don't want
Well, I mean, it happens often to lots of people.
Yeah, but there's a lot of work that goes up into...
Right, of course. So I'm saying, like, if lots of people can get 1 million views on YouTube, I'm sure a lot of people can get 1 million listens on podcasts. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. And we will see you in the next episode. 1, 2, 3. Bye.